Welcome back to another episode of Small Girl, Big Talk. My name is Wendy, and this is a podcast where real conversations meet personal growth. Now, I just came back from a trip to Vancouver for my close friend's wedding. And to be completely honest, I did not expect at the start of this year that I will be going on a long distance international travel all the way to North America because as you may know, I'm actually getting married in a few months' time and I have a wedding. So I've been on a tight budget just to make sure that I'm financially responsible with my decisions. And if you're a long-term listener, you probably would also know that in the past 2 years, I've just been really focused on building my finances back again after I got into some debt because of a business failure. And it's just been how I've been managing my finances in the past 2 years. So for this to be happened, it almost seemed impossible. And all I can say is that if it's not for divine intervention or if it's not for like a gift from God for this to happen for me, it really wouldn't have been possible. I try my best not to get too woo-woo about my sharing on this podcast, but I honestly, truly believe that I manifested this trip. And this trip is something that I didn't know I needed, and I felt like it was truly gifted to me. I have so much to share with you about it, which is why I'm recording this episode. If you are listening to this episode as you are driving or running, feel free to just keep listening on audio mode. But if you're able to, do switch it to video mode because I've also shot a lot of videos during this trip to really document everything. So I'm gonna insert a lot of videos for me to be able to also look back into my experience, and I want to invite you to be a part of that experience as well. So it all started when two of my friends who are getting married invited me to their wedding. And this is not just a regular wedding. This is a wedding that is made possible because of me. Okay, so I was the matchmaker in this relationship. And basically, these two friends of mine, they were both my good friends separately. Like, I knew of both of them. They are like some of my favorite people on earth. And they were acquaintances back in university. Like, they knew of each other, but they were not close. And it was during the pandemic when I was all the way here in Malaysia that I realized that they are both single. They are both nice people. They are both still in Vancouver. So I planted the seed to one of them to say that like, hey, you know, he's still in Vancouver and he's like a nice guy, right? You should reach out. And the rest is history. They actually got together. And I remember when they first told me that they are dating, I was like, what? And I had this vision of me being in their wedding. But when they told me that they're getting married this year, I was like, damn, but I had to be like, I'm on a tight budget. I have my own wedding this year, right? So I was really hesitant, even though I really wanted to be there. And you know, as I was like thinking about it, as I was talking about it, someone, I don't want to name names because they prefer to be private. Someone actually reached out and say like, hey, you know, if you are able to cover for the rest of the expenses for the trip, I would like to sponsor for your flight to head over there. And I was like, what? Are you serious? Like, that is so generous of them to be able to offer that to me and to say that to me. And I felt like indebted and I felt bad at first. Like, that's a lot of money for me. Like, a flight from Malaysia to Vancouver would cost about like 4,000 to 5,000 ringgit. It's a lot of money for me. And I felt like it was a heavy weight to accept at first. But I also felt the sincerity of that offer. And that's when I was like, you know what? Okay, let me just check out my budget. Let me go and like, you know, do some calculations, do my research and check out about that, and I'll get back to you. And that's when like I reached out to some of my old friends that I've I've been thinking of visiting them. Like I miss them so much. I reached out to them and I was like, hey, if I'm planning for a trip to Vancouver, would I be able to crash at your place? And all of them that I asked, like there's only three of them, all of them said yes. They're like, just bring your ass over, we'll take care of you. And I'm so grateful. Like everyone is so kind and generous to me. And so then I went ahead to plan for the trip. I applied for my visa, I got it done, and the days leading up to it was like exciting but quite nervous and stressful at the same time, because around like a month before the trip, that's when I realized like, okay, my back fracture is not fully recovered and the flight's gonna be 20 hours and I'll be Vancouver. There'll be a lot of walking, and I know that I really want to go for a hike. So I was getting a bit worried about my physical health, to be honest. And then like at work, there are team members that left the team, and I need to find replacement and stuff like that. Like things days leading up to it was kind of stressful, and that's when I brought myself back to the core and focus on the intentions that I have for the trip. I shared more about my intentions in the last episode, where I sat down in a hot tub and chat with Kendall, and I think you definitely should check that out. And so I just focus on my intention, and of course, the first number one intention is to celebrate these two closest friends of mine who are getting married to each other. So after I landed there, I'm glad that like I got to spend some time with the couple right before they actually exchanged the rings. Like I was able to just be there in this new house that they've built together, and to be there with their family members in preparation for this really intimate and cozy wedding, and to be a part of it. Like my friends' family members were all so sweet and kind, like, and so much, like I just felt so welcome and so a part of that team. I'm so glad that I got to be there on the morning of the wedding, where my friend was getting her makeup done with her sisters and her mother, and to see her dad like putting together the wedding room in the Chinese traditional sense for them, and to be there to see the groom's sister put on like the traditional clothings that were handed down by their grandmother and their mother. And I was assigned to facilitate the Chinese tea ceremony. And it was my first time doing it. I was like, dude, I know nothing about traditions, but I did my research. I got ChatGPT to help me out with it, and it turned out well. Everyone was really happy with the work that I did. And during the wedding reception, I was also able to catch up with quite a few of like friends from university that I've not met in ages, and to really catch up with them. I also gave a speech during the wedding, which felt really personal, and it was really like a love letter from me to both the bride and groom, and it was very meaningful for me to be able to do that. Of course, I teared up giving the speech, but yeah, like it was so beautiful. And honestly, I would not trade this for anything, to be able to be there for these two people that meant a lot to me in my life, to celebrate this special day with them. And I'm just so grateful that I was given this opportunity to be there, to be that friend, to be able to put this all together. Because during the wedding, during everyone's speeches, they were like, even the dad of the bride was like thanking me for matchmaking them, which was a lot of attention on me. But I'm also glad that because I cared about these people and I thought about them and I connected them, that all of this was made possible. And the best part is to be able to see them both to be so happy now with their partner. Like, my heart just melted looking at the way that they smile and look at each other, and it's just so beautiful to be like surrounded with that kind of love. Now, besides this wedding, I'm also really glad that I got to have this chance to reconnect with quite a few of my close friends from when I was in university. Like, these are people that played an important role in my early adulthood life. Like, we shared a lot of amazing memories together, and they are people that I really cared about. But at the same time, we live at different time zones. We are so far apart. And honestly, me and my friends, we're all the same kind of people because like minded people attract each other. We're just not the kind to text often or to really stay super closely in touch. Like, we would drop each other texts every now and then, and we would like keep up with each other's life through social media, but that's pretty much it. And I'm really glad that because of this trip, I was able to spend one-on-one time with them individually, like going through what they are doing right now in their lives. Like, not only did they welcome me to their home to host me, to feed me, some of them even took their days off from work just to take me around and to drive me around in town, which saved me a lot of money from like transportation and stuff like that too. And I was just so grateful that I was given this kind of treatment, this kind of love, this kind of generosity from them. And I know that this is a privilege that not many people have. And I reflected about it and I was like, you know what? I actually own this. I happily accept this love and I happily receive them instead of feeling bad that I'm troubling them or stuff like that, because I know that they want to do this for me too. And that's why like I'm giving like this episode the title of like how authentic connections really led me to this trip. It's because that over the years I've always focused on just being a genuine true friends to these people that I care about, people that welcome me into their lives, and it's really just an exchange of that love and that authenticity and that relationships and that time and attention that we have for each other. And I think that is a very powerful thing to have in life, and I feel like it's not emphasized enough. Many times when we talk about success in life and all that, we always focus about time, about money, about family time. And I think friendship is the thing for me that has gotten me so far, that has given me some of these best memories in my life. So, like during this trip, even during my layover from Malaysia to Vancouver, like I had a layover in Taiwan for 5 hours. I reached out to some friends that I met through work, and they actually drove to the airport and met me at the airport for dinner. And I'm so happy that I got to also meet their son, who is so cute. And after I arrived in Vancouver, I was able to spend time with quite a few friends. Like a friend of mine, she used to already foster cats back in university days, and she's always talking about cats. And I'm so glad that I got to visit her home and check out this little cat paradise that she's built for her pet cats, and to see the life that she has there. And I also got to spend time with Kendall, whom you guys might have met in the past episode, where she's like the biggest nature lover that I know, and she's now living in a nature paradise in one of the Gulf Islands. And I also got to stay at my content creator friend Dina's home. Like, Dina was also an acquaintance from university, but we really connected when she visited Malaysia 2 years ago. And she reached out to me. She just wanted to meet up with me to see if, like, I'm up for a meal. And I was like, if you don't mind, you can crash at my place. And she happily accepted it. And that's when we really bonded. And this time around, it's like her turn to host me and to take care of me. And I really, really enjoyed our time together. And on top of it, like, there were also so many friends that I was able to catch up with if it's not for this trip. Like, yeah, friends from university, friends that, I guess friends that I'm still just updated with their life on Instagram, like people that I still exchange messages with. And I'm so glad that a few of them were able to come out and meet me up in person and to really just talk about their lives. It's so nice to see familiar faces, even though we haven't seen each other in so long. And And like, I'm just so glad that I got to have this experience. Like, throughout this trip, I was just filled with awe and appreciation that I get to experience all of this. And I felt like I was in the highest vibes, like the highest energy, because I stopped caring too much about feeling bad, about feeling guilty, about worrying about expenses and stuff like that. I just really surrendered and let go and really lived in the moment to appreciate this moment that I was gifted. And I just felt so, like, I was just in awe with everything. And I think that translated to all of the friends around me. They were like, yo, like, they have been taking for granted this beauty of the life that they've had in their home. And I was able to kind of like bring in this newfound appreciation for them, for their home as well. So I thought that was pretty cute. Now, as I was so in awe with like Vancouver and like, just being around, looking at that different climate, that different like geographical, like, plants and mountains and the oceans and stuff like that. Of course, that thought of like, wow, this could have been my life definitely popped up, because I think as someone who live in a developing country and have the opportunity to study in like a developed country, people always ask you like, why didn't you stay back in Vancouver? I get that question all the time whenever I tell people that I studied there. And it's not that it didn't cross my mind. I even applied for the work permit to work there and I got it. I got 3 years to work there after I graduated. And I was in the process of applying for my visa after I moved back to Malaysia. But things happened, right? At that point, I had a massive depressive episode that got me realize that I really didn't want to be so far away from my family. Like, Vancouver is just way too far. It's like 20 hours flight. It's like 16 hours apart in terms of time zone. It's just too big of a distance. And at that point, I couldn't see myself being so far apart. And at the same time, I had the calling to do more work in terms of mental health awareness. And I felt like staying back in Malaysia just makes more sense for me. And that was like 8 years ago when I made the decision to stay back in Malaysia. And as I was traveling around Vancouver, it is so beautiful that it got me thinking like, wow, this could have been my life if I actually stayed back here. But then I wouldn't have met Kevin, whom I'm going to get married to like in 2 months' time. A guy that I felt like I can really connect with, and I can see him as like the best team member in starting a family together. Like, I wouldn't have met him if I didn't choose to stay back in Malaysia. And I also wouldn't have had the chance to spend so much more time with my parents and to be there with my nieces as they move to the city and start their adult lives. Like, all of this wouldn't have been possible if I have chosen to move to Vancouver. And I think one of the big realizations that I have at that point is that there really isn't a better choice or a better decision. It's just what I choose to live with the decision that I made. Honestly, I think if I were to live in Vancouver, it would have been beautiful and amazing as well. But I just really love that I made that decision in my life 8 years ago. And this is where I'm at right now. And when I was, absorbing all this beauty and what I love about Vancouver, I was also thinking like, wow, I can't wait to go home and tell Kevin all about this and to show the friends that I've really cultivated my friendships with in Malaysia in the past few years, to show them more about this part of my life in Vancouver that I really love as well. So it's just a lot of love, a lot of realization. And it's as if that this trip couldn't be any better, that like on the last day of my trip, when I was at the airport, I bumped into my favorite podcast host. There is only one podcast that whenever they release a new episode, I would listen immediately. And in the past few months that they are taking a short break, I've been actually refreshing their page in hopes that there is a new episode. And this podcast is called Spiraling Higher. And the hosts are Gina and Sam, and they are both based in Vancouver. I didn't know them when I was there. I only found their podcast later, and I only found out that they're in Vancouver like later. And so before I went to Vancouver, I actually thought about it. I was like, should I reach out as a fan and see if they want to meet me up? But I felt like it was awkward, and I also didn't have the time anyway. But I did have the thought like, oh, it would be so nice if I actually bump into them. And on the last day itself at the airport, I bumped into Sam. I recorded a short video when I saw her, so I'm gonna insert the clip right now. So it's my last day in Vancouver, and I was at the airport. And one of the things that I've been manifesting for this trip in Vancouver is to meet Sam and Gina from Spiraling Higher, because I know they're both based in Vancouver, and look who I found!
Look at this manifestation right now.
It's crazy!
Okay, but wait, they have to know how you actually saw me for the first time.
Yeah, I just came out of the bathroom in the airport, and this girl's like removing her makeup there.
I was like,
yeah. And I saw her, I was like, are you Sam? Is your name Sam? Because you look so confused too.
I was confused because I thought, who would know me right now? And also, I'm washing my face. Like, not a good time for someone to recognize me, but okay. And then you were like, I listened to the podcast.
Yeah, but I was like, I like that you went on to talk with me about your like just like cleaning your face. Yeah, you're like so comfortable.
I'm just normal.
Yeah.
I'm just the same anytime. But it's crazy because, okay, one of my manifestation rules is this: whatever I desire is because someone else also desires it. So I have also had the desire that one day I'm just walking through the airport and someone's like, hey, are you Sam from the Spiraling Higher podcast?
And we both manifested this.
Yeah, and then you said you wanted to meet me, so I think that's why it was a divine appointment.
Yeah,
and that's why it happened.
It really is.
Yeah,
I'm so glad I'm seeing you in person right now.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. This is making our like airport interval so enjoyable.
I know.
And yeah, like never a dull moment when you're present to all the things that can happen.
Yes.
And also, we had to be paying attention. Like, you could have just walked past, who knows?
Yes.
But you were aware and present, and
yeah.
Now we're having this like divine meeting.
Oh my god, like even just for a short while you're like spitting like wisdom already.
I can't help myself.
Yeah. But like, I'm so glad. You're the same as you are on your podcast.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it would be too hard to maintain a persona online that I couldn't maintain offline, and I think one of the I really appreciate that. Thanks for saying that, Wendy, because I would hate for someone to meet me in person and then think, oh wow, she's really different. That would suck. I think actually though, one thing I will say that people notice about me when they meet me in person is I'm actually more fun and lighthearted, because sometimes in the podcast we're talking about things that are like deeper and heavier, and we want to go into it, and that's valuable as well. But usually in daily life, I'm just kind of like laughing and bopping around.
I think I can get it too. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Okay, we're just gonna end this video here, but yay! It's crazy, right? And seriously, everything that Sam said in that video truly reflects what I think as well. I really believe that we both manifested this moment for us to meet each other. And honestly, I already know that that is not gonna be the last time that I meet Sam in person. And I'm already looking forward to the next encounter that I'm gonna have with her. So yeah, like that's all that I wanted to share with you in this episode. This entire trip has just been so beautiful, and even now that I've been back for a couple weeks after the trip, I'm still thinking about it. I still truly believe that it's a gift that I get for all the seeds that I've sowed in the past, like for all the genuine relationships that I've built in the past, and I've been gifted it in return. And this time around, I just really learned to accept and to receive. And honestly, I also had the courage to reach out and ask for help. Like if I didn't reach out and ask my friends if I can crash at their place, I wouldn't have been able to experience all that they have given to me as well. So I feel like that's the lesson that I have. Like, if you want something, you gotta go for it. But at the same time, you have to slow down and also notice, and you also have to accept and receive whatever that comes your way. So that's all that I have for you in today's episode. I have more videos that I've taken throughout this trip because I really wanted to document my experience this time around. And so in the next episode, it's gonna be like another lesson that I learned from this trip. And I'm gonna include more footages in it. And I think you're gonna love this upcoming episode as well. So be sure to tune into it. If you have not listened to my episode with Kendall in the past one, go back and listen to it right now. And I look forward to see you in my next episode. Goodbye.